Today we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to repair a broken handle on my hand whacker, or Tamper. A lot of folks might just buy a new one if this happens, but these old American-made ones are getting rarer by the minute, so I want to save it. The job is going to require a few basic woodworking skills. Although most of these tasks can be performed using simple hand tools, I'm going to do it using every power tool possible. And if you do try this at home, be sure to make safety your #1 priority. The Mostly Mike Show team assumes no responsibility for any injuries sustained during the simulation of the activities performed in the making of this video. Whether you're building jumps, filling a hole, or laying a brick patio, if you're not fortunate enough to own a motorized whacker or plate compactor, it's likely that you own a hand tamper. I bought mine at a yard sale, relatively cheap, and realized lately that its previous owner must have left it outside for extended periods, causing the handle to rot and break. Obviously, we need to remove the broken piece of wood from the head. There's a hole on the side through which someone drove a nail, so we need to remove that too. I think it's coming. No, it broke off. And of course it broke off, so we need to file it, center punch it, and drill it out. The wooden piece felt kinda loose, like it should just pry out, but I had to drill that out too until it turned into a big pile of splinters. I was gonna mess around and try to dig it out of there by prying it with a screwdriver, but I think I'm gonna take a 1/2-inch drill and I'm gonna try to just penetrate it from the top, see if we can get that thing to split out of there. Let's see what we got here. Still needs to be drilled a little bit. Try to get some loose pieces out of here, and now we're getting somewhere. I think, yeah, we got some chunkage here. And there's that nail that we were trying to dig out earlier. There's still a little bit of it left in there. That was probably what was keeping it from coming out. And now we have a nice big gaping hole. Look at that. In the end, definitely doesn't look too healthy. We're gonna have to take it up to the miter saw and get all that splintery dead crap off of there. One more little shave. That doesn't look too bad. And now, let's see how it fits. Okay, it's still too big to go in there. So we're gonna have to shave it down. I'll show you that here in a minute. Alright, we got some measuring tools here. We have our inside caliper, which we're going to use to make sure that this isn't like machined on a taper or anything in here. So what we're going to do is get it in there and just get it like tuned up snug with the very edge of the hole. You can hear it rubbing there. Yeah, there's no taper to this at all. And we're going to measure our depth with the basic Lufkin X46 stick rule. And simply, I'm going to get you in parallel so you can see exactly how I'm reading it. And 2 15/16, pretty much on the money. I measured the hole and compared it to the diameter of the handle, and it looks like the handle needs to be machined down a bit. Alright, so I'm going to grab a straight router bit Probably, I'll just take the one in the middle here. Give it a little snug. And we're going to measure from the fence to the tip of the router bit till we get our 2 15/16. And that looks pretty close right there. And we'll tighten our clamp down. And I'm going to try to do this one Sam Pilgrim style. So 1, 2, 3. And that was so good. I used a couple of scrap blocks to make a set of guides and set the depth of the cut to just barely. I'm going to run my bit down below the surface of the table. Next I'm going to take my handle and I'm going to center it directly over that bit. It doesn't have to be extremely precise. And we're going to take our block, run it right up against there, and make sure that your handle is still centered over the bit. And we're going to make a guide by taking the other block, closing up that gap, and make it so you can just turn that. And we're going to snug the clamp down and verify that we can turn that. And we can. It's really easy to remove too much, so be careful not to do that. Remember the golden rule, pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. And now let's see how it fits. And as you can see, we didn't have to take very much off. That thing is just about, I don't think I'm going to cut any more off of it. Fits pretty tight. Does anyone know a better way to do this? Put your ideas in the comments below. And how about clicking the thumbs up if you're enjoying this video? Next, we need to keep this handle retained in the head. And we're going to use a fox wedge to accomplish that, which I will explain shortly. So now I'm going to locate the center of the handle using a centering tool on my combination set. Then make a center line with a square. It only needs to be reasonably close, and then I'll drill a stop hole through the handle about 3/4 of the way to the shoulder. This is to avoid splitting from the fox wedge. Next I will make a cut along the line with the bandsaw to meet the hole that I just drilled. A hacksaw or something similar will work if you don't have a bandsaw. Next I am going to make a wedge by cutting a taper with the joiner and then ripping the tapered edge off with the table saw. This is a relatively dangerous process, so if you attempt it, be extremely careful and use a push stick or blocks to avoid loss of digits. If you don't have the tools to do this, you can use an ordinary window wedge which can be purchased at any hardware store. And now I am going to cut the wedge to length just a little bit shorter than the slot. Let me explain to you how a fox wedge works. So in a blind hole such as the one on the Tamper, the bottom hole actually drives the wedge from the inside, creating enough traction on the handle against the sides to secure it to the head. And that's what we're going to do now. So I inserted the wedge just a little bit into the slot to hold it securely. And we're now ready to penetrate the head with the handle. Push the handle in a little, then flip it over and drop it a few times onto a solid surface to let Mr. Isaac Newton's laws of momentum drive it home. Finally, I'm going to drill a pilot hole in the handle through the hole in the head and run a number 12 sheet metal screw for added security. Now let's take it out and give it a try. And it looks like a complete success, even though I really don't have anything that needs whacked. subscribe if you enjoyed, and click the like button. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.